books or anything like that?
Yeah, very interesting.
So we're talking about guidance to our natural roots. When we picked up a little bit of a rough language in our reading, I was kind of pondering the word rape in there and said, well, we'll see. Anyway, we'll talk about our relationship basically with nature. That's the message today. And we do have a lot to celebrate. Not the least of which is an idea contained within the philosophy of our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes. And it's not an idea, it's an idea that is perhaps sounding revolutionary, but it's not new. Anybody know? You'll know it when I say it. There is a power for good in the universe, greater than you, we are, and we can use it. And so the message today, I'm going to weave that in about our relationship with nature. I'm going to ask you to consider using that power that we have in a healing way. So these words, they offer assurance that you can change your life for the better through your ability to tap a power for good within you. You can find solutions to pretty well any problems that may be coming up for you. It's within a broader sense of our human relationship, though, actually our relationship with Mother Earth, or planet Earth, that I speak today. So we discuss a topic that seeks the voice of millions of people on Earth to claim the original, innate, perfect health of our planet. I give thanks to, how many of you remember CSO? Is that okay? CSO, Chief Spiritual Officer, God, Spirit, Buddha, the Divine, for bringing about everything that is necessary for the healing of our physical home, the planet Earth. And for us all, including myself, who have lived on this planet. I bless them, I love them, I forgive them, and I release them to CSO, to God, knowing that God knows exactly what the best and highest way is for us to move into a healing consciousness in our life with the planet. Our talk today is the second of 4 that I will give, that's emerged from my contemplation around a written statement that I read last week, and I'll read it again for you in case you weren't here. And it says, we envision a world that works for everyone and for all creation. We've heard that, right? Most of us. Which has renewed its emphasis on nature. Last week, I talked about beauty. This week, I'm talking about nature. Is there a relationship? Yeah, there is. And in which resources are valued, cared for, and grown. And where there is a generous and continuous sharing of these resources. So the last couple of pieces talking about resources and sharing are new, and that relates to our talk about nature. We're all metaphysicians. Did you know that? We see through the challenges, such as overpopulation, climate change, biodiversity loss, degradation of natural ecosystems and wildlife, air quality, and the availability of water experienced on our planet Earth. And we simply were invited, we're encouraged, we know to simply reside in the truth. So how did we and our planet get into this circumstance? We're surrounded typically with beautiful nature. Other parts of the planet, not quite so much. Other parts of Canada, not quite so much. We know that the relationship between humans and nature has changed dramatically in 10,000 years. As human culture has changed from hunter-gatherer to agrarian to industrial, increasingly large human populations have required increasing manipulation of the natural world to make food production efficient enough to feed so many people. Many people believe, because of this manipulation, that human culture is now at a turning point in history. The technological power of modern industrial society makes us a truly global force with incredible capacity to manipulate the natural world. The global scale of human power means that we also have a global scale responsibility to ensure that power is used wisely, because there may be no area or people left undisturbed by our failure to do so. What was significant in this morning's reading, other than Pat's nice description of who said it? Two words resonated more powerfully for me as a practitioner of science of mind. The two words, I'm not sure maybe they're the same with you: separate, separation, and illusion. And Reverend Thurman, who was born in 1899, died in the early 80s, I believe. I think it was 80. So he's a bit of a contemporary in the early part of the 20th century. This is what he said: "Man cannot long separate himself from nature without withering." Does that relate to us? We understand what he's saying. Then he went on and he said, one of the deceptive aspects of mind in man, that sounds almost typical out of the Center for Spiritual Living or Science of Mind, is to give him the illusion of being distinct from and over against, but not part of nature. So with those two words, are portraying us and nature, not us as nature. Reverend Thurman's use of the word separation could have come directly out of a Science of Mind book, a practitioner's handbook. Separation signals a belief in duality, life divided and chopped up into disconnected pieces, rather than a realization of oneness. That's where we're moving to. That's home. Also, it classically refers to us being separate from our good, in direct denial of Science of Mind's belief in only one presence. We believe that there is only one presence, the omnipotent presence of goodness. Reverend Thurman appears to affirm the condition of spiritual illness experienced by humankind that has brought about significant devastation in large areas of our planet. He says that we have been living on an illusion that we are not ourselves of nature. We've forgotten our roots, but distinct from and over against nature. That we are actually here to master nature. How many of you have heard that notion? Yeah, okay. Master or dominate or run the show yourself without regard particularly to anything else. Turns out Francis Bacon and René Descartes, around the 1600s, they were very influential in scientific philosophy. And they espoused the idea that nature was for us to enjoy, without any particular regard for anything else. That would suggest a house divided against itself. That would suggest that we as human beings can go in and do whatever we would like. That was about 400 years ago. Reverend Lana just came in. And of course, that notion of a house divided is a denial again of science of mind, philosophy, and principles. The exploitation, plundering, and devastation of nature has been the clear result for over 300 years. We have before us a description of lower level consciousness, which suggests, how many of you can remember, I think Reverend Pat talked about this, I'm not sure who did, about the mansion of God having 4 levels, and as we expand our consciousness, we go from the level 1 to 2 to 3 and to 4. And level 1 and 2, we're at a level where we feel somewhat victimized and as though life is against us. And you can imagine if we're feeling separate from nature, there are some events, we would call them natural events, that appear that we're getting hammered. Would we agree? That's an indication of the relationship, not the way our roots would suggest. To add to our observations of where we are as human beings, let's just return to Dr. Holmes to remember his accomplishment in discerning a common thread through all major religions. There is only one God. Regardless of how it seems, what it looks like, that we agree with the broad base of human religion and spirituality, that there is only one God. We may call it something else. And in the science of mind, Dr. Holmes expanded this notion of oneness to the concept of wholeness, which he described as being a perfect whole, not little parts all chopped up and disconnected, but whole. No separation. One. This whole contains and embraces all seeming opposites and contrasts. So you can see how events happening in the world, and if we believe what we believe, we are creating these circumstances with our consciousness of separation. You can see how we feel as though we have no control over nature. We have no call. Mother Earth must be really unhappy with me because we've had a tidal wave, we've had this, we've had that. All human beings throughout the globe, we have free will, and we can choose what we experience, whether it be positive or negative, in our thinking. The same principles that brings us freedom, prosperity, and joy also allows us to experience bondage, lack, or misery. As a race, we seem to be scrambling to eke out life on one hand, and on the other hand, searching almost obsessively for pleasure, materialistic good and goals, and abundance. To obtain this, we and our ancestors have typically exploited nature without much apparent moral restraint, to such an extent that nature has been rendered almost incapable in some places of sustaining healthy life. There are many things that we as human beings can and do to improve the quality of life. On one website, and I invite you to go and take a look-see, with the caption of, this is a bit of humor, how to help save the planet Earth, how to do it yourself. 5 methods are mentioned. I saw one website, they had 50. There's no lack of ideas and legitimate ways that we can involve ourselves in improving the lot of our planet. Conserving water, preserving air quality, protecting the health of the land, work to protect animal habitat, and conserving energy. Worldwide, there are countless individuals, organizations and agencies acting with dedication to bringing about improvement. Just bumping into a couple of people lately, and in some, not wanting to exaggerate, but there can be a fear of where we're heading, what's going to happen with our planet. However, as we metaphysicians observe the generally confused state of the Earth's dis-ease, we can see through the mist of global ill health and disharmony, as Reverend Thurman and Greg Braden and Dr. Holmes have described. Our CSL belief statements are, I think, quite useful. We believe in God, one indestructible absolute. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe includes our bodies and the earth as the body of God. Our bodies, the planet body, one body, no separation. We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. Again, no separation. There's another quotation which I find interesting, and that is, probably you've heard it, as above, so below. Have we heard that one? That means that there is only one state, as above in the universe, on the planet Earth, our own bodies. There is the same perfection and wholeness and love and joy present. And it's simply our growth experience that will allow us to see that. We believe also, given that there is only one, in the same healing of the sick and the control of conditions through the power of this mind. We have the power, and we have a small little place over there, people wanting to do a 1-minute ministry. Well, we could do a 1-minute ministry and treat for improved health of our planet. Size does not matter to spirit. The same words spoken by us can impact our own experience and our own experience and interaction with the planet. We have that power. I need to tell you about Greg Braden. He's too good, and somehow I didn't do it. In his book, it's a long title, it's called Deep Truth. He supports this conclusion. He says, from the global crisis of terrorism, collapsing economies, more good news, and war, to the deeply personal beliefs surrounding relationships and family, the issues that divide us are, and here's the key words, clear reflection of the way we think about ourselves and the world. Does that sound like science of mind? It is. It's the way we think about things that we get to experience. So, Dr. Holmes saw beyond the mist of eternal circumstances. This is the heart of science of mind, about unity and oneness. We're to look through what appears to be a lack of perfection, a lack of wholeness, and see the truth. And the spiritual universe is the truth of us, and we are part of that. And the spiritual causes the material. So we're standing right now on Mother Earth. Our belief is that that form was caused by thought. It was caused by an idea. And if it's appearing unhealthy, we can change our ideas, change our thinking, and improve that lot. And it may look big, but it's simply the same type of circumstance that you and I might experience when we get a cold, if we have whatever might appear to be wrong, it's the same process. So, he says, he challenged us to do the same. He exhorted us, big word, I could see him doing it, to use the power at the center of our being from our natural roots. We have the creative power within us to heal, whether it's ourselves or our environment. Every one of us, everyone. Nobody is left out. For improving our own life and the world around us. He encouraged every student of science of mind, as all of us might consider ourselves to be. I welcome you to that idea, being that you're here, to apply the knowledge and understanding. He said it's all wonderful to read all the books, but he said he'd much rather a student going out and demonstrating the truth. So we can come to another statement that you've heard. I would encourage you to pray or treat and move your feet. You've heard it as treat and move your feet. That means, yes, do the prayer, but do the action as well. Blessings to every person. Blessings to every person who steps forward in some activity to heal our planet. Every person has the power to do something in that way. And blessings to every person who steps forward and speaks their word to reveal the perfection of our planet. The roots that tie